From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Hi, guys. Welcome into Pucks Out Fantasy Football. I'm Bobby Butler. He's Brandon Bond.
Heyo.
Today, we're going to be doing the first mock draft of the season. There will be more to come. I think we're setting up a mock draft, and we're going to be drafting as a team. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We got basically the setup of the league that we're going to have here. 10 teams, 7. We randomized our draft position. We got pick 7. PPR scoring, snake draft, pretty standard. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, and a flex, as well as a DST with 6 bench spots is what we're going to go through. We are using the Fantasy Pros Draft Simulator, and it's awesome because you can get a mock draft done in about 4 minutes.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Would love them to be a sponsor. I love Fantasy Pros. So you're able to do a mock draft in about 4 minutes, and basically it uses the Fantasy Pros has about 120 experts, and they use all their consensus rankings. And so even though you're drafting against a computer, it doesn't pick the same person that it would pick every time like when you normally use a computer. There's algorithms a part of it and stuff. And now I'm not a math guy, so that's a pretty big word for me. So let's get started. We are on the clock. Christian McCaffrey went, Saquon Barkley, Michael Thomas, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, and Alvin Kamara all went 1 through 6. There's not any difference I would have made really with that. Maybe switch some of the positions, switch who gets picked where, but I would have taken any of those 6 at the top of the draft board. Now, our question is, do we want to go, and I'm usually a running back first kind of guy. So I say... personally, that, some people don't think so, but it's hard to pass on Derrick Henry right here at 1-7. But what is your thought process? You can obviously go for one of the top receivers left on the
I'm
board.
a running back guy too, but I'm leaning more towards Devontae Adams, to be completely honest.
Okay.
But I think either one of those guys you're going to get a lot of use out of. I'm going to agree with you, Derrick Henry, only because of running. I like running back. I don't like going receiver in the first round.
It's a lot easier to
unless it's Michael Thomas.
It's a lot easier to find some depth at receiver than it is to find depth at the running back position. Yeah. Especially a top-notch guy that's going to get a bunch of carries.
Yeah, and I think the tier difference between a tier A and a tier B in running backs is drastically different than the tier differences in receiver.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. So we're going to take Derrick Henry here at 1-7.
And so let's see, Joe Mixon off the board.
Yeah, I'm a big Joe Mixon guy.
Yeah, I like Joe Mixon.
If this was a keeper or dynasty league, I think I'd be going Joe Mixon over Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be some difference, but we're just doing some standard scoring, standard league. So right after DeAndre Hopkins went, I think that in a regular league, that DeAndre Hopkins is the choice at receiver there. Again, a dynasty league, maybe you go Devontae Adams over Hopkins, but I would have gone Hopkins as my top receiver past Michael Thomas off the board. Then Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Leonard Fournette, Nick Chubb, and Kenyon Drake. Me personally, I'm taking Nick Chubb over Aaron Jones right now at that spot just because they just drafted another running back. They're already talking about not wanting to use Aaron Jones as much. So Kenyon Drake, great football player with a great opportunity as well. So we are sitting here at pick 2-4, and Devontae Adams is still on the board, as well as Julio and Tyreek and Chris Godwin. I'm gonna be honest with you. If we're sitting here and we want to go receiver there, man, I'm thinking Julio, honestly. Honestly, I don't know what you're feeling, but
this guy has given me a lot of confidence over the past couple of years. I have had him in so many leagues. He's won weeks for me by himself. That's Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is a game changer. He's got Mahomes there. He's a speedster. It's hard to bet against Tyreek Hill, man.
It is. It is. I can definitely agree with that. His boomer bust is just so much higher to me. Whereas Julio Jones is going to get you 1,300 yards and be right there. But for sake of parity, I kind of basically chose the first pick, so we're going to take Tyreek Hill here.
Not to mention,
not a bad
I don't think Atlanta's going to be great this year, and while they will have to pass a lot, I think Julio's getting up there in age. I think Matt Ryan is not Matty Ice of the old times.
I disagree. I think that they didn't make any moves for any big offensive pieces. I'm a Julio Jones fan, even though I hate where he went to school. But I mean, again, you can't go wrong with Tyreek Hill there. And like you said, he can win you some weeks. So
2 tight ends already off the board.
Yeah, right after us, Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Travis Kelce, Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders, Kenny Golladay, George Kittle, Allen Robinson, Mike Evans, and then Todd Gurley. I think that I'm not a big draft a tight end early kind of guy.
I'm not either.
I think that now those guys provide you so much more than what a normal tight end position will get you. But usually if it's before round 3, you're not going to get a tight end out of me. You like that, didn't you? Okay, so we have our pick here at 3-7. Have some good opportunities here. Lamar, the top of the board, we got Lamar Jackson, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, Odell Beckham Jr., Juju Smith-Schuster, Zach Ertz, Patty Mahomes, Cooper Kupp, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm not a big take a quarterback early either.
No,
guy.
I mean, because obviously in specialty leagues and run heavy leagues, yes.
Yeah.
We're in a couple leagues where running is important. Lamar Jackson is a top 3-round guy. Absolutely. Sometimes. This is not a case like that.
The value that Lamar Jackson gave you last year was the fact that you were able to get him in the 9th round.
Yeah.
That was the advantage of, but we take especially in a redraft league, we take Lamar Jackson here, and then we are going to be hurting down the line.
Yeah, we need I think we either need to go another running back.
Okay, yeah. So let's switch over to the running back section. Man. Not a lot of great options here.
So the question is, do we want to go young and hope that they win that starting job, or go with a guy who is not good, who has a decent floor but not a high ceiling?
Yeah, no, I think that we got a guy that has both a high floor and high ceiling in Derrick Henry. I don't think that we can skip out. I mean, the top 4 guys on the board right now are Clyde Edwards-Helaire going to Kansas City, Lev Bell, and Melvin Gordon, and Chris Carson. I think that we got to go Helaire here for the upside that he is going to potentially provide.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything that has touched Adam Gase right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, Mr. B. Hole, you're not getting near this mock draft, buddy. So, yeah, we're going to take Clyde Edwards-Helaire here. And
which I think is it's a ballsy pick.
Ballsy, super ballsy, but we know what Andy Reid has done before with running backs and what he wants to do. So that is absolutely a ballsy pick, but I think it's the smartest pick that's available on the board there. Yeah. So right after us at Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Lamar Jackson, DJ Moore, Mark Andrews. It's very surprising. Mark Andrews went over Zach Ertz, but
I think Mark Andrews, honestly,
I think he's better as well.
Yeah, honestly, I put him at number 2. I think it goes Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, George Kittle.
I disagree with that. George Kittle provides so much, and Mark Andrews is on a less of a passing offense, and it's not as important of a piece to the offense as George Kittle is in San Francisco. But Mark Andrews, so it's Lamar Jackson, DJ Moore, Mark Andrews, Melvin Gordon went, and then Zach Ertz went. Amari Cooper right after that. So we are back on the board. Man, we got to take a shot here. I think that we probably need to get another receiver, and there's 2 right at the top of the board that were very disappointing last year. But I think those 2 options are our only options.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think there was a huge. It's OBJ and Juju Smith-Schuster, and there was a large difference between Cooper Kupp and those guys.
I agree.
Cooper Kupp is reliable. He'll catch some passes every game. He's got Jared Goff passing to him. I think personally, I'm going OBJ.
Me too. I think that OBJ has a great opportunity to step up. I think of those 2, Juju Smith-Schuster, both of those guys have top 5 upside in my opinion.
Yeah,
but only one of those 2 have a top 1 upside, and that's OBJ's, in my opinion. Yeah. So we're going to take OBJ here and shore up our receiver spot. And so after OBJ went, then it was OBJ went to us, and then Juju Smith-Schuster went right after Dak Prescott, and then Patrick Mahomes. Very, very interesting choice there by the computer system here. Cortland Sutton, then Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen, Robert Woods, Jarvis Landry, Lev Bell, Keenan Allen, Devin Singletary, and AJ Green. Now, I'll tell you, if Lev Bell was still there, I think that would have had to been our clear choice.
Yeah.
I mean, the opportunity that he's going to have afforded to him is a good chance to take there in the 5th round. So we have a couple good options sitting at the top of the board here, and the top 4 options are AJ Brown, Chris Carson, and Calvin Ridley and Devontae Parker. I don't think that Devontae Parker, though he could provide a lot to your team in terms of a floor, I don't think that it's going to be an option for us here. I think that this really comes down between AJ Brown and Chris Carson, and so it really depends on if you want to shore up a running back, some running back depth with a good potential starter, or a guy that can be an absolute superstar in this league. So what are you thinking? Because
what are our receivers right now?
Our receivers are currently our roster is Derrick Henry, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek Hill, and Odell Beckham.
Yeah, I want to go, man, in a PPR. Is Robert Woods on the board?
Robert Woods is off the board.
Off the board. Okay.
Yeah.
That figures. So I think Chris Carson is. I'm leaning more towards Chris Carson, but I could definitely see an argument for AJ Brown.
I mean, you can definitely make your argument for AJ Brown, and I'm sure some people would. I just the way that we play fantasy football, running backs are going to be a lot scarcer than a good opportunity receiver after this. So I think that we got to take Carson here.
Because of our positioning, a equivalent receiver will come back to us.
Yes, I can agree with that, because I wouldn't mind getting Devontae Parker or Calvin Ridley here at this next pick. Not that he'll necessarily make it back to us, but it's a chance. Chris Carson. And then Calvin Ridley, DJ Chark, Devontae Parker, Julian Edelman, Stephon Diggs, and then DeAndre Swift.
And A.J. Brown is still there.
A.J. Brown is still there, so we can take A.J. Brown here. And another option is Jonathan Taylor, but I don't think that we should double up on rookies. So let's go ahead and take our pick. And what a good call and that's what you got to look at when you're doing a draft, is you got to know where you're at in position and know what if a position you need goes off the board at that point in time, is another decent option going to come back to you? And while Jonathan Taylor could be a good option, we don't know, and we especially don't want to pair him with another rookie running back that we're not sure about either. Jonathan Taylor comes back to us in the 7th round. I say we got to pull the trigger at that point. That's some talent that.
Or we also miss. That 7th round. That's time to start looking at quarterbacks, I think.
Yeah, we can go in to look at quarterbacks, but we don't want to stretch. A couple more quarterbacks look like they went off the board. So after AJ Brown, Darren Waller. Could be a good opportunity, but a little early for me. Tyler Lockett, Jonathan Taylor, David Johnson, Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray, T.Y. Hilton, DK Metcalf, Russell Wilson, Terry McLaurin, James Conner, and Deshaun Watson all off the board. So I think it's time to at least take a look at the quarterback position to see who's there. Top of the board, Josh Allen, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz, Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, Baker Mayfield. Personally, I say we wait. We've got a lot of guys that already have quarterbacks now. We're not in danger of a bunch of those guys going. I say wait, because the top of the board here is still has some good opportunity. Now, what I wouldn't be opposed to is maybe looking into tight end now. See what we have available. Evan Ingram, Hunter Henry, Tyler Higbee, Austin Hooper. Looking at that board, I say we wait on tight end as well and go receiver.
I don't know, man. I think that there is a big jump between Evan Ingram and then Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, and it's called an injury.
True. Yeah.
So that would be my argument. But if you want to go Evan Ingram here,
so we've pretty much filled out our starting lineup as far as skill positions.
Yeah.
I think we get a good backup at. Either I think we need to stick with a receiver or a running back and get a good backup.
I agree. I mean, because
fill that bye week.
Those tight ends, a lot of tight ends are already off the board on teams, and we got to imagine that at least now they're not going to take another tight end for at least another round or two. So, let's say So at the top of the board, we got good options to kind of go anywhere. Mark Ingram, Tyler Boyd, Deebo Samuel, Kareem Hunt, all at the top of the board, then followed by some tight ends and running backs. I'm not super high on any of them. I mean, Kareem Hunt is going to be a decent option. I just think that with the running offense in Baltimore, Mark Ingram showed that he could provide last year in that.
Yeah.
So while I agree that Kareem Hunt is probably a better talent, based off our running backs on the roster right now, Chris Carson injury prone, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we don't know what we're getting, and obviously we know what we're getting with Derrick Henry. I think we're going to know more what we're getting from Mark Ingram.
Yeah, Mark Ingram is definitely more consistent. I think Kareem Hunt can show flashes at a certain time and turn it on, but he's also battling the fact that the team he's on.
We've got a lot of upside guys that would be able to provide that super boost in Tyreek Hill and CEH and to an extent AJ Brown. I think that we got to go with the safer pick here in Mark Ingram.
And I think he's going to get a lot of garbage time.
And a lot of goal line work.
Yeah.
At least we've seen that. So we're going to take Mark Ingram here and see where we're at, and then maybe this round go back to and look at those tight ends again. We took Mark Ingram, then Tyler Boyd, Carson Wentz, John Brown, Antonio Brown. Wow, Antonio Brown going pretty high for a guy not on a team. David Montgomery, Deebo Samuel, all off the board. So basically all besides one of those quarterbacks, and all of those tight ends are still available. So Kareem Hunt still on the board. I'm okay with taking a shot at him here.
I agree.
So I say, again, we talking about running back depth. Nick Chubb goes down. This is a guy walking into an immediate role. And all through his last 8 games last season, 10, 15 points a game, which is going to be a solid addition for a running back position, especially in a PPR. So he fell back to us. So that's a lot of times what you're going to have to weigh against one another is who's more likely to fall back to you. Marvin Jones, Cam Akers, Marquise Brown, Brandon Cooks, Sterling Shepard, and then Ronald Jones off the board. I think that it would be a pretty good opportunity and time to take either Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram, or Josh Allen all the way in the 9th round. I personally think that we should go with Josh Allen.
I agree.
I think we need a quarterback.
You're gonna get more consistency out of Josh Allen than you would either of those tight ends.
I'm with you on that. So we're going to take Josh Allen here to shore up our quarterback position. And then we are moving in to round number 10. So Josh Allen in the 9th round, he could absolutely be a steal that we're looking for. We're late round quarterback guys. We suggest that you go late round quarterback too, because the bonus that Lamar Jackson provided last year and Patrick Mahomes provided 2 years ago was the pure fact that you got them late and you got to fill out the rest of your roster.
Yeah.
You're taking the guys that took Patrick Mahomes in the 3rd round this year were not as happy about that. There was only one quarterback that beat out his ranking of where he was drafted, and besides Lamar Jackson, and I believe that it was Deshaun Watson, and it was just barely. So you can find a lot of value, especially in a 1 quarterback league, by waiting on your quarterback. I mean, we're sitting here, we got Derrick Henry, CEH, Tyreek Hill, Odell Beckham Jr., Chris Carson, AJ Brown, Mark Ingram, Kareem Hunt, and then we took our quarterback. Yeah. So that's a solid roster to be.
And we have a solid quarterback.
A solid running quarterback that's basically a cheat code in fantasy football.
Yeah.
So right after Josh Allen went, it was Henry Ruggs. A little early for me, especially in a redraft.
Yeah.
Henry Ruggs, Justin Jefferson, James White, Tom Brady, J.K. Dobbins, and Tariq Cohen. I think the best part about this is maybe we'll go super late and get another running back piece, but I don't think we have to look at that necessarily for at least a couple rounds.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we have 4 solid running backs and are either starters or play a good amount of football. So we still have the top 3 tight ends on the board. Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram, and Tyler Higbee, and Austin Hooper's right below that. We can go and see if there's a wide receiver that we'd like to take a risk on.
I think now it's time to get a tight end.
Okay, so we're gonna look at tight end here. You like Evan Ingram. I am a Hunter Henry guy. I think Hunter Henry is going to provide a lot more.
Personally, I would take Tyler Higbee. I think that...
Okay, well then what we need to do is we need to take a receiver here and then
see what's left.
Go get one of those 3 guys. Because if you have 3 decent guys that you're willing to take, so there some of these receivers may not be here. Jamison Crowder, Emmanuel Sanders, Darius Slayton, Mike Williams, Anthony Miller, Deontay Johnson, all on the board. All good options. Alshon Jeffrey. Personally, I think that we need to give Darius Slayton a shot here.
Yeah, I'm with you. That name stuck out to me. I think that he's the go-to of that group.
While I feel like Jamison Crowder and Emmanuel Sanders, if you needed a floor play here, take one of those guys because they're probably going to get some more catches. Darius Slayton showed last year how he can be a dominant force in this league,
and he's got a new quarterback throwing to him.
Well, he was just a rookie last year with Daniel Jones, so another year to work together. And so it looks like right after we made our pick of Darius Slayton, there was a run on tight end. So that is the risk. We need to look at where we're at. I'm still not necessarily sold on that, but what we probably won't do is go tight end now. But Darius Slayton, Jerry Jeudy, Mike Williams, Alshon Jeffrey, Darius Geis, Matt Breida, Jamison Crowder, Evan Ingram, Tyler Higbee, Sony Michel, Dallas Goedert, Austin Hooper, and Hunter Henry. I think that we need to go with Cooks, Jared Cooks. Did I say Jordan Cooks? I think that Cooks is going to be a better option there. I don't see that. So obviously this is going to be cut a little short. Personally, I think we would have needed to go Jared Cook there, and that would have completed our roster as far as filling the actual full part of the roster there.
Yeah. As far as defense, special teams, that I'm fully believe always take the last pick of the draft.
Last pick, no
either
question.
Was there a kicker in this one? Did we do
no kicker? I don't
do
no kicker. Hey, but this next round, since I had to return on this computer and it restarted it, we would have been able to get Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon in that round, and so that would have been just too nasty. But I feel like we gave. I mean, just at that point, we're just picking bench spots, and we're going to do a bunch of these throughout the season.
This is just the first one, and next time we know, hey, bring a Charger.
Bring the Charger. I just didn't think about it. It gave me a couple of beeps, and I thought we were going to be able to get through.
Yeah.
But no, we got to pretty much what we wanted to discuss and talk about. I will never, ever draft a second quarterback on a redraft single quarterback team. It's just a position that you can go and fill so easily. I mean, we could have literally never picked a quarterback until the last round.
And still had
people
pretty much had Drew Brees almost, or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean that we were at round 11 and Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers are still on the board. And so
Drew Brees is a guy that could easily be a top passer in the league.
Oh yeah. Well, and see the thing is with Drew Brees is he's usually a top 10 quarterback. He just is not going to win you a week. He's going to not lose you a week, which is sometimes valuable.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of people will take a quarterback last round and have their quarterback picked up for the first game based off of a matchup. And so I really just want to get through to everybody how, even though it's the most important position in football, it is not in the slightest, especially in regular fantasy football, at all valuable. It's very, very little value. There's something like 40 quarterbacks or something, or 30 quarterbacks have last year had QB1 weeks. Jeff Driscoll had a QB1 week. Okay, so when you start thinking about that Drew Brees or Deshaun Watson or Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes are going to provide more than Jeff Driscoll is going to provide you, because you had to pick him up because Matt Stafford went out and you got Matt Stafford in the 9th round. But your team is able to withhold and mask a lower end tiered quarterback because you have top tier receivers, top tier running backs. I read through that roster, and I was very pleased with
that team is going to carry you into the playoffs for sure.
Right. And I mean, fantasy football comes down to three things. A decent draft, knowing what you're doing in the draft, free agency, how you're working the waiver wire and who you're picking up and who you're dropping,
and matchups,
and luck. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's been years where I score the most points in the league by far, but I have a losing record because sometimes like the matchups are bad for you.
Yeah, it's just how it falls out, like real sports.
Yeah,
so
fantasy football sometimes can just be a fickle bitch, and it's
man, especially I mean, and especially when you're used to winning and you win championships, man, a 2-year, 3-year drought feels like you want to stab yourself in the face.
Yeah.
And this is like literally nothing you can really control. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm usually in 8 leagues and I'm now on 2 years without a football. I mean, luckily I win some hockey leagues.
That's okay. Every time you come over here to record, you get to walk past those 2 rings that are sitting in the hallway.
Which I got to give you.
Yeah. And you got to present them to me. So we love fantasy football. If you guys want more of this, if this is something that you guys are really interested in, let us know. We are more than happy to talk about fantasy football anytime you want. I mean, that is literally our
We're
game.
thinking soon, as the season gets closer, we're going to start doing probably a weekly fantasy football show.
Yeah.
And when the hockey seasons come October, hopefully, we'll start doing a weekly fantasy hockey show.
Yeah.
So just all the content all the time. That's the name of the game, baby.
We want to tell the folks that for fantasy hockey coverage, we are thinking about adding a third host to give you guys some different content than what you probably already hear from us. And you guys are all probably like thinking, please, God, can they just take over the show? All right, man, let's get out of here. I think that was a good half of a mock. We don't want to give them too much.
Yeah. But all right, guys, this has been Pucks Out Fantasy Football. I'm Bobby Butler. He's Brandon Bond. It's been great talking to you guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.